I am definitely in support of Resolution 2025-154, the Gun Violence Awareness Day. And I understand some guests are here today too. The Moms Demand Action addressing gun violence. And I don't want to always appear to be someone who's opposing legislation, but I am very concerned. I would like for you to add me in these conversations as well, and these solutions. I have been a victim of gun violence, but I chose not to get a gun to solve gun violence. I believe that if we change and alter the funding for sale, manufacture, trade, and production of guns and put them into homes, then we can curtail a lot of gun violence. There's going to always be people evil that are in the land. And I had wanted to address some previous legislation, but I would like for the president and the vice president to contact me in terms of Resolution 2025-117, because we are still in Mental Health Awareness Month. And I had sent you all some information last week. I would like for you to look at the suicide rate of people who suffer from depression, who take antidepressants, because I see you have an Alzheimer's resolution here, and people who also suffer from schizoaffective disorders. I would like for you to look to see how much money is being going and allocated for those mental health medications for also the Alzheimer patients, because many times it's not Alzheimer's, it may be PTSD that may lead to dementia or Alzheimer's. But I would like to see how the funding is being allocated and get your statistics documented so you know what we are actually working with and working for. I am also still in support of Resolution, I believe it's 146, the Ohio Department of Transportation, and at a later time when the Planning Committee is available, I would like for you to be aware that the Akron Metro Public Transportation System operators and support staff do not have a contract, and they've been in negotiations going on 2 years. And the union president and vice president came to me for help, and that is not fair. It's not reasonable. And the council president, the clerks have the information, and I've also gone to the county executive. Let's be fair to people who work. We all need each other. Thank you very much, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you, Paulette. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Councilman Will Height. He's going to talk about the ad hoc committee that is here tonight to present their report. Do you want to come on up? Who's going to come up and speak? Come on,
That's right. Okay, this ought to be real interesting because Mark gave me technology to do the thing, so we may be going backwards here before it's all over. But to members of the council, you may remember back fall of last year, we put together a subcommittee to look at the environmental issues, or not issues, but the environmental activity that's going on in Summit County, because we were hearing from a lot of people that there's just nothing going on in Summit County, and that's just not true. So Bethany and Christine joined me with some of the ladies and gentlemen behind me, and then additional members who I'll show you here in just a second, just to get an inventory of what's going on in the county so that we have a starting point. And I think you'll see through the information in the PowerPoint that's been presented, there is a lot going on. Certainly the county, the administration and many of the departments are doing a lot environmentally. I know Mike Vinay and his team were a part of the research, and pretty much every project that they look at how can they do the project in an environmentally safe and effective way going forward. So there's a lot of dollars that get spent in that arena, as well as a lot of very important progress that comes out of it. But I'm going to see if I can do this. Did it. This gives you an idea of the members. We had folks from government, the county executive's office, obviously, nonprofit organizations, business. And I want to also, before I get too far into this, I want to thank Monique and Mark for all the support they gave us through this whole process. It was determined that we would put this on an electronic form going forward so that we didn't cut down a lot of trees, waste a lot of paper, all that kind of stuff. And believe me, if they wouldn't have put it on the electronic process, I would be giving you a lot of dead trees. So it worked out really, really well. So with that, we're going to go right into reminding everybody the mission was to seek a countywide inventory of environmental activities and practices currently in place and submit the inventory to the public upon completion, which we're doing today, to communicate and educate the community on what the activities are, and then to identify any gaps and needs that may exist and develop recommendations to address them. They're not all focused around dollars and cents. A lot of it is focused on what we all can do collectively as individuals. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to some folks that helped us do the work. And Rachel, if you want to come up first and get us started. We did a survey of the community, and I'm going to let Rachel, Ross, and Marcy are going to jump in, and then we'll hear from the city of Akron on some of the great work that they're doing. So Rachel, go ahead, and I'll stand back there and be quiet.
Thank you. And I'm Rachel Madigan with the County Executive's Department of Administration and Public Information. And we started this survey. We sent it out on Monday, March 25th, and collected responses through April 11th. We just did a Google form, so we asked name, address, the contact name, and the relationship to the organization. We asked them to self-identify what sector they're in, if they're in government, business, or for a nonprofit organization. We asked for their logo and their permission to use their logo on any promotional materials so that we can shout them out. And then we asked them to describe their sustainability efforts related to some categories that the committee had decided on. So clean water, air quality, land conservation and soil quality, biodiversity, food and farming, access to nature, like people activity, as we called it, climate change, clean energy, and materials management. And so on the survey, we provided examples too. We had collected this data from our committee members before we sent this out to the public, because there's not standardized language with sustainability. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So giving examples of what our members are doing was a way to kind of inform, to make it a little bit easier to fill this survey out, because you might not know what that means, sustainability. So we sent it out with a media advisory. We put it on our social media, and we sent it out to like our own personal networks on the committee. Another big source of responses that we got was from the Summit of Sustainability Alliance's email list. So we have 140 people on that list that receive our emails for our monthly meetings. And we have 38 members. I'm the secretary on the core team of the Summit of Sustainability Alliance, which we affectionately call SOSA. So we got a lot of responses from, we got 19 responses, but mostly from people on the committee and people who are engaged currently with SOSA. 48% were government partners, 28% nonprofit, and 24% were for-profit. So I'm going to turn it over to Marcy Kress to talk a little bit about the public sector part of the inventory.
Good evening, Council. Marcy Kress, Executive Director for REWorks. When it comes to the conversation involved in this project, we are very much tucked into the materials management side. So what I would like to express to Council is, one, how great this exercise was for us, for a government agency, public sector, who's very specific skill set as far as what sustainability means, and being able to have this as a resource when people come to us and maybe we don't have the expertise to advise them on this. We now have this great list and resource and network where we can advise some folks on where they can go for these other very important components of sustainability. So I just wanted to tell you the value from us also was here, not just from a public standpoint, but to be able to speak on the other services that we have to offer, for public services, private, nonprofit. All of it was a very helpful conversation for REWorks. With that, I will hand it over back to Rachel. Thank you.
Okay, I'm back. So the nonprofit inventory We just divided them by sector to make it a little bit easier to read because it was a lot to have all on one page. So Keep Akron Beautiful is one of the committee members, and they expressed that they fall into the biodiversity category by planting native plants, food and farming. They have flowerscapes, community beautification, access to nature. They do litter cleanups. And then someone who's not on our committee, the Tinkers Creek Watershed Partners, they fell into a clean water category. They do stormwater support, rain gardens, rain barrels, very popular kind of public outreach stuff. And then a little bit about the businesses and the for-profit side. So one of our committee members was Summit E-Waste Recycling Solutions. They fell into the materials management category, doing electronics recycling. And then a partner who was not part of the committee, but responded to the survey is Rubber City Reuse, who's very active in SOSA. A few things, materials management, first of all, they do compost organic material, like food scraps and yard waste, biodiversity by creating soil blends that falls into land conservation and soil quality, and then climate change for CO2 and methane reduction by diverting materials from landfills, which is what Summit Reworks does as well. And with that, I will turn it over to Ross.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ross Widener. I'm with Widener Consulting, LLC, and I'm involved with this committee formerly as a representative from Bridgestone, but then ended up leaving that position, going out on my own. But throughout that transition, I'm the chair of the Summit of Sustainability Alliance that Rachel mentioned earlier. You all might know me from another thing that I do, but that's not me today. So, we mentioned that the existing SOSA members were a source of information for this. So just wanted to take a few seconds and explain what SOSA is and what we do. So SOSA has existed since 2012 in various forms, but really since 2022, we've established ourselves as a convening space for organizations who want to partner on common sustainability goals. And so as Rachel mentioned, we have 38 member organizations and many more interested folks who are on our mailing list and can show up to our meetings if they so choose. I chair the core team. Our vice chair is Christine Emily Narish from the Akron Zoo. And then Rachel is the secretary representing the executive's office. We're also led in part by Big Love Network, City of Cuyahoga Falls, with really strong support also from the City of Akron and Gaines, which is a previously existing sustainability network. And so we have regular meetings where we sort of do a roadshow tour of different organizations and entities throughout the county to learn what they're doing in sustainability and also what their pain points are and what the opportunities might be for partnership. And then separately from that, organizations self-organize into teams around specific goals. So right now we're focused on biodiversity, composting, and CO2 reduction. And so we're really excited that County Council took an interest in this activity and also actively involved SOSA in the process so that we could bring everything we've learned over the past 3 years to add to this inventory and we think could be a good stable structure to continue the conversation going forward. So we agree with the conclusion from the committee here that there's opportunity for more outreach with the business community. Most of the responses that we received were from the government and the nonprofit sectors who really lean into this work. We find that businesses, while they're happy to host the team and be able to talk about their sustainability initiatives, if they're small businesses, they often don't have a member who's available to come and spend time participating in the committee's activities. And the larger corporates are, if they have a sustainability person, they're focused on their global footprint and what's going on all around the world, more so what's happening here in Summit County. So the business community has been a little bit harder for us to access and pull information from, and I think that's some of the work we still have to do to get more detail about what's going on, because the for-profit community does a lot in sustainability to build their own brand and contribute to their communities. We just haven't gotten information about all of that yet. And then impact is another area where we have identified that there's future work that we can do. We want to get a sense of how much has been invested into environmental activities across the county, as well as how much money folks have saved because they've made those investments, and the other impacts that are of benefit to nature and the environment that have been realized. That's a big job. I think that's going to be a lot of work for somebody to do, to gather all that data. This committee has been working over the past few months to collect just headlines that there is an activity in these different categories, but to actually quantify the spend and the impact is a very large data collection exercise that I think is worthwhile from the standpoint of delivering something of value from all of this work, but it's going to take time and resource to be able to build that database appropriately. So those are a few of the insights that we had from the journey. So here's a few other pictures of SOSA activities over the past few years and some of the tours that we've done. We have the opportunity really to promote the inventory that we've collected so far and celebrate it with the community. I know that was a major goal of establishing the committee, is really recognizing the environmental activities that are going on across all of these sectors. So SOSA has existing social media channels and email contacts that we can use. And then there are other and Rachel put on here creative opportunities, and she has a great idea similar to the Better Business Bureau model of giving sort of a window cling or some sort of recognition opportunity for businesses and organizations to participate in this activity. So I think we'd like to pursue her idea there a little bit further, and really just leaning into the momentum that SOSA has built to this point. We've got a lot of engaged and passionate folks, and so if the County Council sees fit to sort of anoint us as the official place to carry on this conversation, I think we can really take what we're doing here to the next level and continue to build the value that we demonstrate for the community. So I think that's all that we had for council tonight, but I think we're happy to answer any questions unless anybody has something to add.
Do you have any questions, council?
I don't know, this might be a question maybe for Brian or Greta too. I know a couple years ago, the executive moved on Power Clean Future. Were they a part of this conversation? And if not, how do we get them involved?
Yeah, so they've been co-presenters at one of our meetings before, hosted by the City of Cuyahoga Falls. And so I mentioned that one of our focus areas for SOSA is CO2 reduction. And so really following the lead of the county and the county's involvement with PCFO, we want to gather the various municipalities that have already been on board with that platform and find regional solutions, things that we can all do in collaboration together. So that's really the structure of that, the CO2 reduction team within SOSA, is to try to do that work. So we're very much connected with what's going with PCFO across the county.
So in conclusion, what this has done for us is it's created a focal point and a bit of an inventory of what's existing right now. We in no way covered everything that's going on environmentally. As Ross mentioned, one of the big areas are businesses, and businesses don't like surveys from government. We know that, and that's just something that we'll continue to work on. But the point of this is we now have a tool that we can use in several different areas. For example, from an economic development standpoint, the chamber or any of the ladies and gentlemen with what they do on an ongoing basis can share with anyone interested in maybe coming to our community to live or bring a business here. If they're environmentally inclined, here's what we're doing. We're not just not doing anything. To try and put an aggregate number around everything that's going on with the environment is a very difficult thing to do, but it's in the millions of dollars spent. We hope there's the same in return for things that are saved. I can speak directly to what REWorks does and the amount of diversion that they've done over the years. They've been in existence and are continuing to do, which is also a very, very great thing. So this is available to anybody who is interested in the information, and hopefully going forward we can continue to add to what we've done and have an ongoing tool that works for everybody. But again, from the council's perspective, I want to thank Councilwoman Hyam and McKinney for joining us at the beginning, helping us formulate this and get it structured. And I certainly want to thank Monique and Mark for the support they gave us all the way through this process. It was great. So with that, if there's no questions, we are done. And I'm going to turn back to technology. Oh, yeah. Did you want to say anything about the system? I apologize. The city of Akron, as you know, has been going through a federal edict to do stormwater cleanup and the whole Akron energy system forward. It is amazing what they're doing. I've called Mark Divis, who is the head of that Akron Energy Services, to try to set up an opportunity for anybody who's interested to go and tour that facility. It is a state-of-the-art facility, especially those of us who've been around since Abe Lincoln, with the old system that was there and the issues that were there versus the new and what they've done. It's extraordinary. So we'll finish with this quick overview.
Thank you for having me. I'm Tom Smith, Public Utilities Commissioner for the City of Akron. I'm kind of the Abe Lincoln because I worked at the recycle plant in 1980 when they started it for the city, which is a long time ago. But Akron has done a lot. We found out we didn't advertise it well, but our portion for carbon goes from trees that we continue to plant to increase our green area, including Portage and Geauga County for the amount of trees we have in our watershed. One of the big things we did is we do electric aggregation like the county does. Our program is all zero carbon. It all comes from the nuclear plants up by Lake Erie. So when we fill out the forms for how much carbon from electricity, over half the residents are in our program, so they're zero carbon on their electricity. All the city facilities is zero carbon on electricity, which is a big amount. As Jeff said, we took the original trash burning plant and built a new state-of-the-art facility because we stopped burning trash in '94, which Jeff was there. I'm part of that for the Solid Waste Authority. So, but our new plant, we measure the reductions as over 45%. It's equivalent to what the national park's carbon footprint is for removing it with our tree canopy. We can actually do that just in that plant. This building and the other buildings downtown are on it. We continue to bring that efficiency up. And I did get to do a little bit of the work on the new AES plant. If you have a chance, between the old one and new, and it's light years ahead. So we've done that. We've done a lot of energy projects. The wastewater plant from '94 to 2023, we reduced the electric load by 2/3 totally, treating the same amount of wastewater, including we now generate 40% of our electric power from what used to be the compost facility, which we now call the Akron Renewable Energy Facility, by composting the sludge, taking the gas and making electricity out of it, and then beneficially reusing that sludge as a land application projects. But we did find out, which I was glad to be part of this, is that people don't realize what we do. Like people ask, what are we doing for Summit County for carbon? Actually, you all have done a tremendous amount. You just don't get credit for it because nobody toots your horn. So I'll give you a lot of credit in doing that, and it's really great that Akron and Summit County partnered to reduce CO2 emissions. So there's a long ways to go, but at least, you know, we're on a path and identified it. So thank you very much. I appreciate being part of this committee.
I have a quick question. So what can we do in our own communities when we're talking to businesses?
Share this information with them, Rita, so they know that there's a wagon moving down the road, jump on it, and share what you're doing in your community to add to that so that we can show the full ultimate picture of what's going on in the county. Because it's impressive. It really is. When you compare us to other places, a lot going on.
Okay, thank you. Next, I'm going to, thank you for coming. I'm going to turn the meeting over to Councilwoman Erin Dickinson, who has Moms Demand Action here tonight. If Erin?
Yes, if you'd like to all come forward. The Moms Demand Action Group and Students Demand Action are here tonight because we have a resolution recognizing Wear Orange Day, which is Gun Violence Awareness Day. And as you all know, this is an issue that's always been close to my heart and a group that I hold very dear. And I appreciate the efforts of this group very much. This is unfortunately an issue that we hear about pretty much daily here in Summit County and doesn't get as much focus in the state of Ohio as it should. In my opinion, because we have problems going on every day. But I appreciate the work that you all do, and I'm happy to turn it over to you to tell us about Gun Violence Awareness Day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Council. Thank you for your warm welcome to your meeting today. I'm Jennifer Boswell. I'm the new co-lead of Moms Demand Action for Stark and Summit counties. And with me today, as you've already seen, is our large group. We have Students Demand Action from Revere High School with us today. We also have my co-lead, Lynn, is here. We have members from Moms Demand Action. And also we don't have her in a t-shirt today, but our Be Smart secure storage program, Diane is involved with within the county. So we have a variety of programs we do to try to reduce gun violence in our communities. We commend you as a council for giving visibility to gun violence in its many forms and its profound impact on our community and its people, and for encouraging the community to work with you in stopping this tragic public health crisis. Gun violence touches every town in our country, and it certainly has had an impact across Summit County, especially Akron, but also Stowe and Barberton and other places in the county. Every day, 125 people in the United States are killed with guns, and more than 200 are shot and wounded. The gun homicide rate here is 26 times higher than that of other developed countries. And let us not forget that nearly 6 in 10 gun deaths in the United States are deaths by suicide. Today, the rate of firearm suicides is at an all-time high. Veterans are 3 times more likely to die by gun suicide than non-veterans. Firearms are the leading cause of death for children and teens. This is a uniquely American problem. Children and teens in the United States experience staggeringly high rates of gun deaths and injuries. And they are also harmed when a friend or family member is killed with a gun, when someone they know is shot, and when they witness and hear gunshots. Exposure to gun violence has an impact on children's and teens' psychological and mental well-being and affects their school performance. When neighborhoods and schools are not safe from gun violence, entire generations of children are affected. The number of guns sold in the United States and easy accessibility are key factors to these heartbreaking statistics. Data and research show that common sense public safety laws can reduce gun violence and save lives. Summit County Council's adoption of this resolution for the 5th consecutive year demonstrates that its leaders will not accept this national preventable tragedy to continue to play out here in our communities. We commend you and thank you. The campaign Wear Orange is a key aspect of National Gun Violence Awareness Day, encouraging people to wear orange to show support for gun violence prevention. It is also a way to honor the lives lost to gun violence and to demand more action to address the issue. The Wear Orange initiative was started by the Friends of Hadiah Pendleton, a 15-year-old shot and killed in Chicago in 2013. Now I want to bring your attention to an event that's coming up over Wear Orange weekend. I have some handouts for you. So you may not have heard of Mitzvah Day before, but it is a weekend of service projects around the county, brought to us by about 15 different faith communities. And they always try to do one event that is dedicated to learning about a social issue or problem that people can gather around and take action. And this year, they have invited a panel of 6 high school students from the Always Climbing Project in Akron to talk about their experience with gun violence in the community. And so Moms Demand Action, the folks you see behind me here, we will be there at that event to listen and learn from the young people in our community and hear what they have to say about how gun violence affects their lives, and maybe get some ideas on some new ways we can address this problem. So if you look at the brochure, it includes all the service projects for that weekend. And on Sunday afternoon, June 8th at 3:30 is the forum, the panel with the students. So we invite you all to participate in that if you can get away. And then also our team will be there as well to talk solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Huh? Does anybody have any questions? No?
Councilwoman.
Yes. I don't think it's,
For any members of council who would like some for your community events, we still have a large supply of gun locks left from the gun buybacks from years past. So we keep them available at our front desk at both the Pry Building and here in the Ohio Building. But if you have a community event coming up where you'd like some, please let me know. I'm happy to provide those. Those came as a partnership that former Councilwoman Sims began with Akron Children's Hospital.
and I want to thank you guys too for what you do. So I shared with you, I lost my brother when I was 13, and it affected our whole family. My brother was killed in California, so I know how important, it is for gun safety. And I shared with you, my family, we all still, biggest majority of my family have weapons, guns, but, safe. The education that you give, but the people that we leave behind, that suffer, because I shared that with you, like a lot, my mother suffered a long time. So I thank you.
Thank you so very much. And survivor support is an important part of our work as well. So
Right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming and for the work that you do.
And now we turn it over to Councilman Ford.
Good evening. It's 5:01, and I'd like to call Public Works Committee to order. 2025-142 is a resolution authorizing the publication and legal notices for the proposed public improvement known as the Copley Ditch, County Ditch Number 38 Improvement Project located in Copley Township, and setting dates for the public viewing and public hearing pursuant to Section 6131.07 of the Ohio Revised Code for council and declaring an emergency.
Good afternoon, Council. I'm Mark Potter, Chief of Staff at the Council Office. You've probably noticed we've started to have a lot more of these, and they were kind of few and far between just a couple years ago. But as the Surface Water Management District is kind of getting its sea legs, we're going to be seeing a lot more of these, which is this process you're kind of starting to get used to now, where we have to set the public viewing and the public hearing. There's notices that need to go out. In this case, the area of the improvements, there's approximately 60 properties that will get notices in the mail, highlighting to them when the public hearing is and the public viewing. So the public viewing in this case is going to be July 21st. It's a Monday, but we don't have a meeting that night. So it's going to be at the Copley Township Meeting Room, and the public hearing here in council for this particular one is September 8th. So we have kind of a list of these kind of going through their different stages right now, but be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from committee? Questions from?
I have a question, Brian. So the surface water project, the district, the surface water district, will they be helping a lot financially for that since we're doing that now?
Yes,
So like the residents won't get affected there?
that is the plan, yes.
Yeah, I failed to mention that, but that's an important aspect of this. So probably the public hearing should be fairly smooth if people aren't paying for
You
them.
notice you don't have a packed room of folks tonight. That should be more common.
All right. I was just happened to think of that though.
Mr. Chair, how are the Copley Township trustees with this?
Copley Township the trustees submitted this petition actually, so.
Any other questions? May I have a motion? Motion from Councilwoman Hyam. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2025-143, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract with Environmental Design Group, Inc. as a best practical source for the final design of the stormwater basin and channel improvements at the Penguin Drive and Glenmount Avenue area located in Coventry Township in Council District 8 in an amount not to exceed $263,640 for the engineer and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Heidi Swindell, Summit County Engineer's Office. This is another one of the stormwater projects. EDG had completed the preliminary study of this area. It's Glenmount Ave and Penguin Drive. There's condos there. They've been flooded several times in the past. And it's right on the border with Akron, and we've been working for many, many years trying to figure out how to reduce that flooding. This project would put in an additional basin to hold the water, and it'll also clean out and free up Hinman Ditch. EDG is best practical source since they did the preliminary study, and we recommend awarding them a contract to do the design of this project. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from committee or council? Councilman Cajun?
Hi, Heidi.
Hi.
This one's in my district.
Yes, it is.
And I know this spot, and it's always like that. But I guess my question really is a little more general. As we see rainfall data change over time, right? We've based a lot of these stormwater type projects on what we used to call a 100-year rainfall event, a 1,000-year rainfall event. It sure seems like we get an awful lot of 100-year rainfall events in the last 10 years.
That is correct.
To what extent are we planning for additional capacity for these increased rainfall events?
Resources are limited, right? We could plan for, a 20,000-year storm, but we don't have the money for that. We don't have the property, and it's just not going to happen. So we task the consultants with balancing that. How many more easements would we need? How much money would it cost? How big does the detention basin have to be? We still aim for that 1,000-year storm. That hasn't changed. That's until they come down from on high telling us different, with different recommendations. We'll keep using that, but we do try to use the best analysis possible to see how big we can make it, how much money we can spend, and we'll go up to the limit within our capabilities.
So have those numbers changed? I mean, have they shifted what a 1,000-year storm means?
Not that I know of. I'll ask the guys, but yeah, I don't know if they go back like 50 years and use the data and then update it through, but as far as I know, they haven't.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions from council? May I have a motion? Motion from Councilwoman Hyen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2025-144, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for the Canton Road and Sanitarium Road intersection project located in Springfield Township in Council District 8 for an estimated total cost not to exceed $396,178.48 for the engineer and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is just authorization to advertise this project. We're thinking construction won't be until next year, but we do want to be able to at least bid it out this year. By Springfield High School, the Canton Road intersection, we would like to put a sidewalk there for pedestrian safety and then upgrade the signal, make it ADA compliant, have pedestrian push buttons, and just kind of make it safer out there. And I'm happy to answer any questions, though.
Questions from council? Mr. Cajun.
Sorry, me again.
Yeah.
Same, my district.
Doing a lot of work
I
in
know
the
I'm going to
district.
get questions about this one. Why no traffic circle? Just cost?
At this location,
Yeah.
I don't,
So I know we've got one for Pickle Road and
Pickle and Killian.
and then another
I
one
mean,
for Killian. Hey, that's right.
I'm not sure if they've analyzed it in terms of a roundabout, but with a major intersection. And then I am always cautious with roundabouts. They are much safer for traffic. I am not convinced they're safer for pedestrians,
Okay.
especially if you're coming, because you're always looking this way. And if somebody's coming that way, you're just not going to see them. You expect everybody to come in that.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion from Councilman Schmidt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2025-145, a resolution authorizing the executive to enter into agreements for the acquisition of various easements over portions of 1766 Canton Road, 1796 Canton Road, 1787 Canton Road, and 1880 Canton Road, located in Springfield Township in Council District 8, in a total amount not to exceed $4,010 as a part of the Canton Road and Sanitarium Road intersection and pedestrian safety improvement project for the engineer and declaring an emergency.
Same project, we will just need to get a couple easements for the sidewalk. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from council? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Who's that? Oh. Motion. Motion from Councilwoman Dickinson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2025146, a resolution authorizing the executive to enter into a project funding and maintenance agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation concerning the construction of a water detention pond on as a part of the State of Ohio's Rest Area DOT 230020 project at an estimated cost not to exceed $257,000, located in Bath Township in Council District 5, for the executive and engineer declaring an emergency.
Thank you. ODOT is in the process of redoing the rest area off 77 in northern Bath Township, and it is an ideal location for us to put a detention pond. And so we asked them as part of their project, when they're under construction, if they could include the construction of a pond within that project, so save us a little money, and then we just agree to maintain the pond, and we are responsible for it. They estimate it'll be $257,000, and this is an agreement that just says we'll maintain it if they build it as part of their project, and we'll pay for it. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Councilman Lacotte. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2025147, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Sistones Excavating Services, LLC, for the 2025 Summit County Calvert Replacement Program in an amount not to exceed $126,182.20 for the engineer and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is kind of part of our annual pavement maintenance projects. This is for the replacement on 3 culverts, one on Boyden, one on Medina Line, and one on Myersville. They'll just be replacements of corrugated metal pipes. We put it out for bid, and Sistones Excavating was the lowest bidder at $126,000. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? May I have a motion? Oh, go ahead.
Boyden, northern Summit County, Medina Line, I believe that's a part of Medina and Bath Township, and then Myersville and Springfield.
Any other questions? May I have a motion? Motion from Councilwoman Hyam. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2025148, a resolution authorizing the executive to enter into an agreement for the acquisition of a drainage easement over a portion of 2807 Medina Line Road, located in Richfield Township in Council District 1, in a total amount not to exceed $600 as a part of Medina Line Road Culvert Replacement Project for the engineer declaring an emergency.
Yeah, even further north, Richfield Township. That's where the Medina Line one is. The same project. We need a drainage easement in order to bring in the new culvert and install it. We've reached an agreement with the property owners, and we would just like authorization to make that purchase. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Councilwoman Dickinson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2025149, a resolution approving and accepting a re-subdivision titled Colony Ledges Development Number 3, Replat Number 1, located in Sagamore Hills Township in Council District 1 for the Executive's Planning Commission and the engineer, and declaring an emergency.
Is anybody from planning here? All right, you get me. Sorry, don't ask too many questions. We haven't done one of these in a very long time. I guess subdivision development has kind of really slowed down in the past couple of years. But they are going to replat. I think it's just one parcel in this subdivision, and they're going to split it into 2 parcels. And something with the Planning Commission rules means that type of replat has to come to council, even though others don't. But happy to answer any questions. Kinda.
So it's going to be for 2 homes then?
Yes.
So then the existing home will stay there, and it'll be 2 homes, correct? So that altogether will be 3 homes all together there, right?
So it sounded like, to me,
The home is the Snell home.
oh, is that the one that's being replatted? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's one piece of this, in non-layman, or in layman's terms, I should say, it's just one piece of property where the house currently sits. They're gonna replat it, and so it's gonna be 2, and the intention, I think, is for property owners to sell that piece for it to be built, or for somebody else to build on that.
So it'll be 2 houses total.
All right, just curious.
Yeah, I know in the, it,
Subdivision, you kind of think 60 homes are going in there.
right, no, it's just a replat of 1 parcel.
That's where it's.
Yep.
Eventually, they're going to become a city.
Right.
Any other questions? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Councilman Lacotte. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2025150, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Brown Equipment Company at Sourcewell Pricing for 1 new Ford Utility Service fuel transport truck and a total amount not to exceed $119,065 for the engineer and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. This is a truck with a trailer on it that we use to haul supplies out to our job sites, mostly fuel when we have to fuel up equipment, but also tools and support materials, limestone and whatnot. It is replacing a 2011 F-250 pickup truck, and we are purchasing it at Sourcewell Pricing, which is a national purchasing cooperative. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from Councilman Schmidt. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Councilman?
Heidi, sorry, before you sit down, who has responsibility for the Y Bridge?
Akron.
It is Akron. Okay, thank you.
That is one of the best things engineer Paul Swanson ever did. Actually, the county built the Y Bridge. And then under agreement, they said, we'll construct it, but you're going to own and maintain it afterwards to the city of Akron.
Well, that part's not working.
Gotcha.
All right, thank you. I will close Public Works at 5:18.
Planning and Economic Development will open at 5:18. We have one piece tonight, 2025-151, a resolution authorizing the executive to execute a lease amendment with Cleveland Clinic Akron General Medical Center for approximately 24.7 acres of land located at 1596 and 1621 Flickinger Road, located in the city of Akron in Council District 8, to modify the term of the lease for an additional 5-year term from January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2030, with two options to renew for additional 5-year terms for rent in the total amount of $1 per year for the executive and declaring an emergency. Andrew.
Good afternoon, Council. Andrew Berry on behalf of County Executive Shapiro's Law Department. This is for the Challenge Golf Course that Cleveland Clinic Akron General operates, which is a nonprofit golf course for individuals with disabling impairments. They also do a lot with our local school districts, and anyone part of the Cleveland Clinic entire system is able to get referred to this golf course for assistance. The piece before you tonight is authorizing an amendment to the lease agreement we have that would authorize a renewal for 5 years that would put us through 2030 with 2 additional options to renew that would put the lease ending in 2040. And this, as a public use lease, we do this lease for $1 per year to the foundation. So it would be in terms, and it's payable as $5 at the beginning of the lease renewal. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have questions for Andrew? Mr. Wilhite? Would council as a whole like to go on to this? Great. Do I have a motion? I have a motion from Councilman Wilhite on 2025-151. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thanks,
Thank you.
Andrew. And Planning and Economic Development will close at 5:20. And I'll open the Public Safety Committee at 5:20. First item on the agenda, 2025-152, resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Tyler Technologies, Inc. as a best practical source to provide annual maintenance services for the countywide computer-aided dispatch and records management systems for the period 7/124 through 12/31/25 in an amount not to exceed $350,553.73 for the Executive Department of Public Safety and declaring an emergency.
Good evening, Lori Pesci, Executive's Office, Department of Public Safety. Again, this is our annual maintenance agreement for our Tyler CAD system. Currently, all of the Summit Emergency Communications communities, the City of Akron, and South Summit, which is green, and some of the communities down south are using the system, and everybody pays user fees to support the cost.
Are there any questions? Okay, do I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Lacotte. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. 2025-153, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with 460 Tech LLC DBA in court as a best practical source to provide annual maintenance with on-site support for the Criminal Justice Virtual Courtroom Project for a one-year term from 7/125 through 6/30/26 for an amount not to exceed $330,731.42 for the first year, with 4 options to renew for an additional one-year term for the Executive Department of Public Safety and declaring an emergency.
Lori Pesci, Executive's Office, Department of Public Safety. This is our maintenance for all of the hardware that we use for the virtual court system. And just so you know the breadth of it, Summit County General Division has 12 locations. Domestic Relations has 2, Juvenile has 1, Stowe has 4, Barberton has 2, Akron Muni has 10. We also service the Legal Defender's Office, Public Safety, the Akron Bar Association, Oriana House. And they conducted 6,043 hearings since January 1st of 2024. So this money pays to support all of that hardware across all of those organizations, and so much so that it supports a full-time person from being in court on site to be able to go to those locations. Yes, ma'am.
Curiosity.
Sure.
Defendants, do they really prefer to have it done that way, or would they rather be in front of a judge? Ever hear any feedback on that?
It depends. I feel like if you talk to most attorneys, they may prefer in person just because there's other visual cues and other things that you can read from people that are in the room. So, but it does depend. It does provide a lot of access for people who wouldn't normally be able to make it because of other commitments or other barriers to get here. So it helps with attorney schedules and individual schedules. So it obviously they're doing a lot of work over the system.
I don't know. I just always hear it's better to go to court, to be in person.
There are some hearings that don't necessarily aren't as critical, I would say, necessarily that they would be required to be there in person. But yeah, there are varying opinions about it.
Well, maybe how much would we save by going back to court instead of doing this too, though?
Brian, how much would it cost the sheriff's office to staff
We would save a lot. We would not save. We would spend a lot more money. Remember, the primary focus of this was the roughly 60 to 80 prisoners a day the sheriff was transporting from the jail to the court, and also trying to essentially streamline and speed up the process for folks being able to move through the system. So I think in terms of the way it's used and people getting out of jail, those preliminary hearings and getting out quicker, it's definitely been effective and much more secure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Other questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Councilman Kajan, I think. Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Oh, and I will close public safety at 5:25.
Rules Committee will come to order. We have one resolution to consider this evening. 2025-157, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of change order number 1 to a professional service agreement with Mazanik, Raskin, and Ryder, LPA, in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for a cumulative increase of 133.33% for a total amount not to exceed $175,000 toward the cost of continued legal representation and services on behalf of the county in the matter of Antonio Williamson versus Sheriff Candy Fothery et al. For the executive and the sheriff and declaring an emergency.
Good evening. Brian Harnack from the Executive's Department of Law and Risk Management. This case was originally filed back in 2021, and at that point, Masnick, Raskin, and Ryder was appointed to represent the bulk of the county defendants, in this case named individually and the county. At that time, they were given $75,000. Now, almost 4 years later, this case has been a very complicated one and a lot of discovery, a lot of depositions. We are now in a very active portion of that case, getting towards the end of discovery and trial. So at this point, we're asking for this change order to cover really the remainder of the case, from the end of discovery, possibly, and I'm probably deposing the expert witnesses, all the way through dispositive motions, trial, and even possibly an appeal.
Questions from the committee? Members of council? The public? Liz Walters moved on 2025-157. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That concludes the Rules Committee. If there is no other-
Okay, open the Health and Human Services Committee at 5:28. First up is Resolution 2025-154, a resolution declaring Friday, June 6, 2025 as Gun Violence Awareness Day in Summit County to honor and remember the victims and survivors of gun violence and to join in the calling for the prevention of gun violence by wearing orange for the executive and declaring an emergency. Anybody have any questions or thoughts? Council as a whole? Do I have a motion? So moved. Mr. Ford moved on 2025-154. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Next up is 2025-155, a resolution declaring the month of June 2025 as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month in Summit County to raise awareness about Alzheimer's disease and other brain diseases and dementias for the executive and declaring an emergency. And we have Pam Hickson Stevenson and Tanya Gardella, if you'd like to come forward. And while they're coming up, I want to offer my congratulations to the Summit County Public Library on a stellar win for continued service. And Pam, that speaks to you and your great staff and how well they serve the community. So congratulations.
Thank you. We appreciate County Council's support very much. Thank you.
Tanya.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for the resolution declaring June 2025 as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. This resolution highlights both the growing impact of Alzheimer's and related dementias and the shared commitment of agencies across Summit County to better serve individuals living with dementia and their care partners. I'm Tanya Gardella, Adult Services Coordinator for the Akron Summit County Public Library. I'm joined today by our Executive Director, Pam Hickson Stevenson. We're proud to be partners in this important work alongside the County Executive's Office, the Alzheimer's Association, Summit County Public Health, Summit DD, Direction Home Akron Canton, Asia Inc., and many more, working to make Summit County a more dementia-inclusive place. Many people don't realize that dementia is not a typical part of aging. While some may never experience it, Others begin showing symptoms as early as their 30s or 40s. Lifestyle choices like a healthy diet, regular exercise, cognitive screenings, and staying mentally and socially active can help support brain health and slow cognitive decline. Still, the numbers are striking. In 2025, an estimated 7.2 million Americans aged 65 and older will be living with Alzheimer's. Nearly 3/4 will be over the age of 75. 2/3 will be women. Older Black Americans are about twice as likely as older white Americans to develop dementia. Here in Ohio, over 236,000 people are living with Alzheimer's. From 2017 to 2021, more than 3,100 Summit County residents died from Alzheimer's or related dementias, which ranked as the third leading cause of death for that period. Most of those deaths, 67%, were among people aged 85 and older. Since 2023, Dementia Friendly Summit County has focused on reducing stigma, increasing education, and elevating the voices of those living with dementia. Action team members come from across many sectors in the county, including faith-based, health, museums, assisted living and long-term care facilities, libraries, transportation, business, government, and more. We invite all community members to join us in this important work. There are 5 key messages that Dementia Friends believes everyone should know about. 1, like I mentioned, dementia is not a normal part of aging. 2, it's caused by diseases of the brain. 3, it is not just about losing your memory. 4, it's possible to live well with dementia. And 5, there is more to the person than dementia. We are grateful to partners who participated in Dementia Friends educational sessions like Arts Now, the Akron Art Museum, the Akron Zoo, University of Akron libraries, local fire and EMS departments, credit unions, city leaders, and more. Thank you to Council for helping make Summit County more inclusive, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Thank you. Any questions for Tanya? Council as a whole? Absolutely. Can I have a motion? Mr. McKinney moved on 2025-155. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, very much. Next up is a resolution declaring Sunday, June 15th, 2025 as Elder Abuse Awareness Day in Summit County and encouraging residents to participate in any events and programs designed to raise awareness of and prevent the abuse of older adults for the executive and declaring an emergency. And we have Kathy Ruffner.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Ruffner. I'm the Deputy Director of Elder and Disabled Services under Executive Shapiro's Department of Job and Family Services. I oversee our Adult Protective Services program. Just to give you some numbers, in 2024, our department on our hotline received over 2,600 phone calls regarding allegations of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. Of those cases, we opened 1,080 for investigations. Of those cases, we opened 121 for abuse, 652 for neglect or self-neglect allegations, and 307 for exploitation. And so I'm happy to answer any questions and appreciate your support.
Any questions for Council as a whole? Absolutely. All those in favor? What? Opposed? The ayes have it.
I don't think we had a motion. Somebody moved?
Yeah, read it.
No, I can't make, I was saying council as a whole.
Geez, Council.
I have to make the motion.
Do I have, David, Mr. Cott moves on 2025, we'll get it for you, promise. 2025, 156. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right. There you go. There you go. Okay, I'll close Health and Human Services at, it looks like 5:34.
Okay, and we'll open up Finance at 5:54. We have one item, 2025-158, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Forerunner Technologies, Inc. as best practical source to provide support for the county's NEC phone systems for a 5-year term, 5/25/2025, 5/24/2030, for a yearly cost not to exceed $19,145 $1,058.74, and a total amount not to exceed $95,728.70 for the Office of Information Technology and declaring it an emergency.
Stephen Byrne, Office of Information Technology. So just as the description is, this is support for our phone system, the NEC VoIP phone system. They'll be replacing Blackbox, who was our previous support provider. This will save us roughly about $17,000 per year.
Committee questions? Council questions?
I'll move.
Motion?
I'll move.
Okay, Councilwoman Walters moves on 2025-158. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And we will close finance out at 5:35.